in years past to come in and just share with the community where we are in our process for opening up the Tioga Road corridor. So I just thank you for that and for giving us this opportunity. We do have one sort of special guest tonight. We have some leadership change, here in the park. And tonight we have with us our current acting superintendent, Ray McPadden. And Ray's been here for a little over a week, and he wanted to stop in and introduce himself. So I will turn it over to him for a minute.
Yeah, hi, good evening. And just quick audio check. Can you hear me okay, Scott? All
Sound
right.
great.
Yeah. Hi. All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks so much for having us. Great to be here. I'm Ray McPadden. I'm the acting superintendent of Yosemite. As Scott said, I started just about 10 days ago. So still getting my feet under me. What I want to say just in opening, our presenters are going to speak to a lot of things in much more detail, is that we're making really big strides to have the park open and accessible to visitors from every direction, right? And a key focus area for us, obviously, is Tioga Road and Tuolumne Meadows. We recognize how important that corridor is specifically to the folks in the room tonight, and to all the communities on the east side of the park. So progress is going great. We're quite far along in our reopening steps. And for us procedurally, we want to make sure that our staff are safe, right? The folks that are out there clearing the road, that are working with the avalanche zones. We want to make sure the visitors are safe, right, when we reopen, and that we have restrooms and trash service available, right? Kind of all the right things are in place for us to get open. So our staff will speak to this in a lot more detail, but I want to say again, thank you very much for having us. It's a pleasure to be here, and I hope to meet many of you in person.
Thanks, Ray, very much.
Right. Thank you, Ray. So, tonight we have, like Ray said, a group of really great subject matter experts here from the Park Service to provide updates on various areas that the park opens up in Tuolumne and off of Tioga Road. We've got a couple guiding principles that really help us through this process. First and foremost, employee safety, and then understanding those avalanche threats, and then of course sanitation. And ultimately, that drives, when we hit all of those, we get visitor safety and visitor access. So tonight, as we start, we'll start with safety. I'm going to ask Sarah Robinson. She's our district ranger up in Tuolumne to start us off with just an update on where the avalanche threat is today.
Sarah Robinson to the help desk, please. Sarah Robinson.
We get to the.
She was on here earlier.
Yeah, she was. I don't know.
There she is. Oh, there we go.
Okay. Thanks, Sarah.
Cool. Thanks. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so Tioga Road, as you guys may or may not know, has multiple avalanche zones that we have to consider when we're plowing the road going west to east. At this point in time, Olmsted is the only one that is still active and in play. Everything else is melted out. And as of 30 minutes ago, when I came through it, it's still considered a call through zone. So we do have to limit our administrative travel and access through that area to those that have had the training in the park and are confirmed that they are good to go through that zone. So it's really limited right now. And a lot of this comes from the fatality we had back in 1995 and not wanting to hit that zone too early with the plows. It has mostly melted out to 2 lanes, but it's not fully 2 lanes at this point in time. So we still have to plow that out, as well as there's a little bit of a hanging pillow still above the road itself. Most of that actually slid on Monday, and so we did have to re-clear it on Monday. So it's not something that it's something that's still active, like we saw on Monday. And so still watching that snow pillow that's up there. But it is melting fast. Even within the last week, there's been significant melt on the Olmsted zone. So hopefully we will be able to open it safely for full admin access soon. But I don't have a timeline on what that's going to look like right now. That's all I have for the avalanche danger update from that end of things.
Thank you, Sarah. So we'll keep moving on, and we'll as Paul said, we'll stick around for some questions if there are any at the end. But so we'll move next to Karen Amstunz, who's our interpretive supervisor up in Tuolumne Meadows. Karen is going to give you just an overview on the park's process for opening the corridor. I will apologize to Karen. I had a little bit of technical difficulties, and I was supposed to present a slide for her, so hopefully she'll be able to. But if not, we'll listen for a minute.
Oops. Well, thanks for that introduction. Let's see if not sure if my video is showing.
Yeah, you're all good.
Okay, good. Well, hey everyone. I'm Karen Amstutz. I'm the interpretation supervisor in Tuolumne Meadows, and I've worked in Tuolumne since 2005 and been in Yosemite now for over 30 years. So it's such an important home place for me too. I'm also one of the founding members of the Tuolumne Meadows Council, which is an interdivisional group with the goal of facilitating communication amongst individuals, work groups, and park leadership about all the Tuolumne operations, challenges, and even celebrations. The council started in 2011 during a very dynamic spring opening. And that year, the road corridor was open to the public for about a month before the wastewater and water facilities and housing were operational. So with full visitor access and no critical infrastructure or staff to support the visitation that we had, we saw the failure to uphold the mission of the National Park Service. We also witnessed the failure to ensure visitor safety and the failure to protect Tuolumne and the watershed and Hetch Hetchy water system. So supervisors representing all the divisions operating in Tuolumne Meadows came together to begin the journey of changing the narrative behind opening the Tioga Road. So to begin telling the story that plowing is just the beginning. The reopening of the Tioga Road and the Tuolumne Meadows area is one of the most important tasks that we tackle every year. And every year, as you know well, is so different because of the variety and unpredictability of contributing factors like snowpack, staffing levels, aging infrastructure, just to name a few. In an environment that's impossible to predict, we're hoping, as always, to provide some consistency in the expectations for opening the Tioga Road. So we've created a new visual. Let's see if I can share the visual, if I can share my screen.
Yep, you should be able to if you can share your thought.
Here we go. It says the host has disabled screen sharing.
That is totally not true.
Why would you do this to me, Paul?
There you go. You should be able to do it.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. So we created this visual, and the visual is improved, highlighting the conditions that need to be met before the road can be open to the public. You can see it's kind of a tick list, and each item represents collaboration and cooperation across many divisions, many work groups within those divisions. Completion of the checklist sets the park up for success in providing for the safety of staff, safety of visitors, and the protection of and access to the treasured high country resources of the national park. The hope is to use the updates page on the park's website and the weekly emails that Joe and Scott send out to show the progress being made on these checklist items. Not sure if we'll get to that this year, but that's our goal. And we're so grateful for all of you for helping us share the story that this visual represents. Our neighbors' cooperation and collaboration are key to a smooth and successful opening every year. So that's all I got.
Karen, it doesn't look like sharing worked on either end. So if you could email that to me, I can share that out with folks.
Yeah, I will, for sure.
Thanks very much. And
Paul,
thanks for explaining the bigger story. What's up?
Paul, I'll send it to you. Karen, I got it. I'll send it to him
Okay.
right after this. So, thank
Thanks.
you.
Oh, it told me it was sharing.
That's right. Thank you, Karen.
Yeah, thank you.
So, as you see, it's, we talk about this area. It's a, as you all know, and we know, it's a, it's multifaceted, but probably, beyond the safety, one of the biggest areas, as we mentioned, is utilities, and as well as the road, wastewater treatment. So tonight with us, we have Mike Trum, our facilities chief, and Mike's going to go over not only where the road sits and plowing, but also where he is and his team is with the utilities and the wastewater treatment plant. So, Mike, if you're able to, if you can come on screen, that'd be great.
Thanks, Scott. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're great. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you. Hi, I'm Mike Trum. I'm the acting facilities chief now for the park. I've currently been the utilities chief, so I'm comfortable speaking to that stuff and can take questions. But regarding the road, Sarah nailed it all. The road plowing went very smooth. It wasn't a heavy snow year, which the snow that we did have started late in the year and it gave us plenty of time to work on our equipment and get it up to speed. So when we did hit the snow, it went very smooth. There's a lot of side roads, the campgrounds we're still kind of cleaning out, but the main road is looking really, really well. On the utilities end, we had a limited assessment last week, got our first look at the ponds, the plant, and we didn't see anything alarming. Everything looked, in fair shape. Minor damage here and there, but that's to be expected. The spray fields is something that still had some snow on it, but those are things that are quickly melting off. And as everybody knows, once the snow's gone, the ground is still going to be wet. We got to wait for that groundwater saturation to diminish before we can start spraying and bringing those ponds down. And once we hit that stage, then we can kick that plant on and start processing treatment, needs. So no major delays really is what we're seeing. Everything's kind of looking like it's on par for a normal year. So if there's no questions, that's all that I have for utilities and the road.
Yeah, if there are questions, I think we'll get to you after we've gone through all the park folks. So thank you, Mike, so much for that update on the critical infrastructure.
Sure thing.
Nice. Thank you, Mike. So we'll keep trucking along here. As you all know, for concessions is a large part of the park's operations. And there are several concessions areas up in Tuolumne Meadows. And so I'll ask Nicole Tucker, our commercial services branch chief, to step in here and just give you all an update on some of the campgrounds and what that's going to look like for them.
Thanks, Scott. Hi, everyone. Nicole Tucker, Branch Chief of Commercial Services here at Yosemite. I'm just here to give you a couple of updates on the concessions operations up in the high country this year. So some operations that will be operating this year are the Tuolumne Meadows Lodge, the Post Office Store and Grill, the Hiker Shuttle, and the Yosemite Mountaineering School are all planned to operate. As I'm sure many of you are well aware, all of these opening dates are subject to change, just depending on access and systems functioning properly. So we have also received some questions about High Sierra camps. We are evaluating those, and so I don't have an update for you today on High Sierra camps. And the Tuolumne Meadows campground is likely to open this summer, pending the work that needs to be completed there. And we are looking forward to that opening.
Thanks, Nicole. And so we're getting close to our end of our brief, but we're going to circle back around for a little more safety, and bring Sarah Robinson back because one, she's just amazing. But two, she's also the best person to really talk about not only our safety capabilities, our search and rescue, our emergency response, and just the status of our communications equipment up there, which is so key to those efforts when we have to do them. So just stand by for Sarah here. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. So yeah, a couple more updates. I think I forgot to introduce myself earlier. I'm the Tuolumne Meadows Subdistrict Ranger up here. That's why I get all the talking points. So comms, I'll start with comms. Communication's looking really good for Tuolumne Meadows right now. Starlink stayed up and functional all year. I'm working off of it right now in the Meadows, so that's good to go. As are our radio systems. Hoffman stayed functional all winter. It's still good. So we have those two things working for us at that point in time. At this point in time, we also have the Verizon cell tower is still functional from the winter. So that's all good. We're good with comms up here. The landlines have not been turned on yet. They get turned off every fall, and then AT&T will come back up when admin travel is allowed to turn landlines back on. But with the radios, the cell tower, and Starlink, we're really comfortable with where we're at communication wise. In terms of the emergency services staffing, I have my last paid staff member seasonal onboards on Monday, and then I'll be fully staffed for the summer. They are all itching to get up here at this point in time. I'm the only one that has functionally moved up here for the most part, although I'm still in and out even at that point in time. So still working on getting emergency services staff up here, but the ambulance has been moved up. And then I will have a full search and rescue team that will, the volunteer team that will show up right before the road opens. And they're itching and ready to get up here as well. So looking pretty good on the staffing side of things. And yeah, just waiting for the go ahead to move forward with, getting people up here safely and staffing this more fully to support the other operations. And I think, yep, those are all of my notes.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. This actually, concludes all our subject matter experts. And I know when we get right down to brass tacks, right, that $1 million question, right, when will the road open? And I wish I could answer that today. Unfortunately, I just can't. There's still a lot to do up there, as you all heard. But what I can do is that, I can promise to keep my, communication flow with Paul weekly and ensure that we have, that good communication flow back and forth, and we can provide the updates not only weekly, but if there's anything significant, we can certainly reach out, or I will certainly reach out to Paul and make sure that we're passing that information back along. So with that, Paul, I guess we can stand by for any questions, and if somebody knows specifically. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Sarah just responded to me. Paul, when we get there, we'll answer questions, but we would also love to, hear from Caltrans. I understand they may be there to kind of understand where they are in their process. But we'll stand by for questions. And
Yeah, I think before we get to questions, there's one outstanding piece that you and I had discussed and we had agendized, which was just an overview of the 2025 reservation system as it stands.
Absolutely. So right now, the reservation system is in place. We'll be kicking off on Memorial Day weekend, and reservations are on sale. So we have Memorial Day weekend and we have Labor Day weekend, and as the bookends of that, after Memorial Day weekend, we have a few weeks before reservations go into a daily effect starting June 15th. And they will be daily until August 15th. The rollback, we did roll back the hours for this year. So you can enter the park without a reservation before 6 a.m. or after 2 p.m. And if I recall, last year it was 4 or maybe 3. I'm looking at Joe because I wasn't here last year.
3 p.m. last
It was 3 p.m. So drew it back an extra hour. So that should allow, a little more access again, along with, our superintendent was talking about being open and accessible, and that's really the goal.
Great, thanks. So those are on sale now, and how are sales going? Are you seeing days sell out?
Yes, we are seeing days sell out. Uh, Memorial Day weekend sold out in roughly 10 minutes. There will be a second release of tickets 7 days out. So, that'll happen and it gives people a chance, maybe they just weren't aware that this was taking place. And we have seen days sell out in June. I don't know that I've seen stuff sell out in July yet, but I might not have the latest details. We'll as it moves on, I think when we get through Memorial Day weekend, and people have that first sort of like, oh, I didn't know this was happening, and they're talking about it on social media or whatnot, or we get some more media coverage, it'll definitely probably see ticket sales moving up. That would be just my what I suspect will happen.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm sure we'll have some questions on reservation system as we go, but this is a really good segue. I really quickly wanted to talk about and give a plug for YARTS, the Yosemite Area Transit. That's the bus. Because if you take the bus, you don't need a reservation for the park. You just need a ticket on the bus. YARTS this year is scheduled to start the 2 runs a day that will come over into the Highway 120, 395 corridor are scheduled to start July 1st. One of those runs is going to stop August 30th, but the second run will go all the way through September 30th. 2 runs a day. There are multiple stops up and down the 395 corridor from the Mobile to Lakeview Lodge. Used to be a request only stop. It is now a stop that will be hit every day on every run. They'll also go out to the visitor center and then all the way down through the June Lake Junction and into Mammoth. It's not only an amazing scenic ride, it's pretty affordable. The ride from Lee Vining into the valley this year is gonna be $44 for a round trip. Last year I used the bus from town here multiple times to do basically carless supported backpacking trips where I jumped on the bus, jumped off the bus, walked somewhere, got back on the bus, came home. It's a great way for us locals to not take passes away from the tourists that drive our economy. Because we live here, we can jump on the bus, get in, come back. It's just something to think about that every pass we get potentially is somebody coming to Yosemite for the first time. So huge plug for YARTS. YARTS.com is the address. And with that, I'm going to ask really quickly, Josh, I know you are on from Caltrans. Do you mind giving a really quick update on the 120 West corridor?
Sure can. So we made it to the top. We've got the snow cleared off the road. We still do have some avalanche potential areas, especially right along Ellery Lake right there. Our issue now is we have a couple large boulders in the road that we're going to have to mitigate. One is 20-foot long, 10-foot wide, and 8-foot tall, and it's a giant rectangle. Probably next week, anyone in Lee Vining is going to hear us up there. So I would ask if, those of the public to let them know that next week's probably a bad week to try to go pedal your bike up the hill. The other thing I would ask too is if anyone goes up there and they go past the gates, be mindful of our equipment. We're trying to work as fast as we can, and the little interruptions actually take up a lot of time. We also have an area, we're getting a contractor up there soon. We have a crushed lane that got crushed by rocks falling this winter. So they will be up there soon to repair that, and hopefully there's not a bunch of damage under these three large boulders at Blue Slide. And after that, we'll be good to go. We don't have a timeline yet. We got to get everything together, but for the most part, we're looking really good.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. So did you fly over the Sierra today? Is that how you got home in time?
No, so we bought a Daisy Bell. District 9 bought a Daisy Bell in conjunction with District 10 and District 3, and for Caltrans. And we were doing training. We did it back in January on Mount Downs over in the June Lake area. Today we were in District 10 over by Caples Lake. Tomorrow we'll be over on Echo Summit. And it's just basically it's like our GasX system, but it hangs off of a helicopter. You send two guys in a helicopter and they can go mitigate avalanches in remote areas. So really neat system, but there's a lot of factors that have to come together for it to work, right? Like flying a helicopter. If there's a bunch of wind, you can't fly a helicopter, or if there's a storm, you can't fly a helicopter. So we're working on that. So right now we're in a training program with it and see if it's substantial for us to use in the future. So
Cool. Well, thanks.
Yep.
And I really want to also emphasize something that Josh talked about. As everybody that lives here knows, we're seeing a lot more traffic on 120 with bikes because now bikes have batteries. And so it's not just the folks who are willing to pedal. That has really increased the speed and the volume of people that are up there. And folks are not always being as thoughtful and respectful of the heavy equipment operators as they could be. And as Josh says, when you're up there, those guys have to stop work. So I'm not saying don't go because it's something we all love to do. I'm just saying be as respectful as possible. Make sure they see you. It is your job to see them, not their job to stop for you. These guys are working really hard. They're working long hours. It's really stressful to be up on that pass doing this work. Let's just all be as respectful as possible so we can continue to do what we've been doing as well as get the road fixed as soon as possible. So thanks, Josh, for being here so much. And I think with that, I'm going to open it up first to questions in the room, and then I'll go online. For those of you online, please use the raise your hand tool, and I'll get to you in the order in which you raise your hand. But let's go in the room. Do we have any questions in the room? Yes.
I do. I had 3 questions. My first question was regarding the sewer and sanitation in Tuolumne. Are there future plans to take care of this matter so it could be something that doesn't delay us each year for the opening of the Tioga 120, since it's something that does delay it once the road is cleared? We have to still wait for that. So are there future plans that will come into effect? I could give us some insight on the direction that you're going with this sanitation issue.
Thanks very much. Mike, were you able to hear that question?
Yes, it was. So we have a new Tuolumne wastewater treatment plant that is going to begin construction next year. That should solve some of the issues that we're seeing with initial opening. However, it's not addressing the existing collection system, which is still operational and, really sufficient for what we're seeing up there. But the wastewater treatment plant, I think, is what you're getting after. And yes, that is in the works. And, over the next 45 years, that construction is going to complete, and we will see a much different opening for those future years.
Okay, thank you. My other question was to Nikki. She had mentioned that High Sierra camps were up and functioning, but as of today, I have had numerous emails and input saying that they have been canceled. People in August with pre-existing reservations have all canceled. because of sanitation issues as well up there. So is that false information or can be confirmed that they will not be opening again?
Yeah, thanks for the question. At this time, we just don't have a good update for you today. We should have some more information in the next couple of days, but yes, that information did go out, but we're receiving some questions from the department that we just need to further evaluate and discuss internally before we have a better update. So sorry, I don't have a better answer for you today.
You didn't answer the question. She asked if the information was true or false, and you didn't say whether it was true or false. Are they opening this year or not?
At this point in time, no, the cancellation.
Okay, that's it. That's all we needed to know. Just, okay, thank you.
Thank you. I just was just trying to weed out some information.
We just need to get straight answers. So
Yeah, no, good.
we're hotel owners and we really rely on the tourism to come through. So it's, you know, it's really important that we get straight answers and not talking, you know,
Thanks,
we don't,
Nicole.
yeah. Anyway, thank you.
Then I just had one more question. It was regarding the reservation service. When it comes to people that are just traveling from A to B that want, not local, this is non-local, my other part would be local. Non-local, they still have to have a reservation just to pass through, correct? The road is not open for public access, okay?
Right.
And then
So
go ahead.
for non-local, they need a reservation. For local, there's a list of zip codes, and you show your ID at the, your driver's license at the gate, and you fall within the local zip code for Mono County or Groveland or Mariposa, Oakhurst. You'll be able to pass through without.
Is that both ways?
Yes.
Like if you enter, so like, yeah, when you're trying to get back, you can, and you're in Mono County, not Mono, sorry, Mono County, you can get back through from the other side with no issues.
Local. Yes.
Okay, yeah, that was,
Both
we
directions.
ran into problems last year, so, I had a question kind of regarding that as well.
Yes,
Or-
Vicky, you have a question.
Sorry, I know. I know just about, because you said the people just driving straight through to get to the other side, non-local, have to have reservations. So, so people who have like hotel reservations on the east side of the park, they're not going to the park, they're just driving through from the west side. They still need to have a reservation to drive through the park to get to their hotel, correct? They can't just like show their hotel reservation for that night in Mono County and get through. We had some
Correct.
guests run into issues a couple years ago, so that's why I'm asking.
Correct. What I would offer is that, please make sure they understand that you can cross after 2
Okay.
or before 6 a.m. The park is open 24 hours a day, but just from 6 to 2, 6
They
a.m.
have to have
to
a
2 p.m.
reservation.
If you're not a
Okay.
local resident, you're going to need to have a reservation.
Okay, we will let our guests know. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. And hopefully that 2 a.m. made the window a little bit bigger so folks could get here.
The 2
2
p.m. Yeah, it
2
definitely,
p.m., yeah, 2 p.m.
it definitely helps. Definitely.
I
So.
just feel like it's 2 a.m.
No, I know, right? No, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions in the room? Going once, I'm gonna go online. Do we have questions online? Please use your raise your hand tool. Mr. Barshea Miller, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, everybody. Thank you very much. I just had a quick comment. I just wanted to give a big thank you to everyone that took the time to show up and communicate with everyone on this side. It is much appreciated. I know it's a big lift, and Paul, thanks for coordinating, and appreciate the turnout and the dedication to this. So kudos all around.
Thanks, man, very much. Yeah, any other questions online? We got a lot of people. Are there questions? Use the raise your hand tool and I will call on you. Wow. Cool. Well, your panel did a thorough enough job that most questions, it looks like, are being held. Thank you so much for the update and the holistic view of what it takes to open the pass. Thank you also to Josh for talking about our side. I think the number of people both here in the room and online just drive home the point as to how much people value the park. Like I opened the meeting, both value it spiritually as well as economically. It's critical to us in so many ways. So thank you to Park Service staff. We really appreciate what you all do, how hard you're working to get the park open to the public. Thank you also, Josh. And with that, I think, oh, we got a question online. Where can the local zip code info be found? That can be found by Googling Yosemite National Park Reservations. It's on the Yosemite National Park webpage. But basically I can give you the high level geographic view. If you live from Conway Summit South, you can enter the park using your driver's license. So all the drivers or all the addresses from Conway Summit South. Myself and others have asked if that could be revisited to, at the very least, include Bridgeport so that people can utilize the park to get over to doctor's appointments and other visits and business things in Fresno, since it is the quickest way to go. We have another comment online. Scott, this is for your crew. Will there be a bike day this year?
So we've talked about it, and maybe Sarah can jump in, but I know it's something we want to do. We've certainly talked about it. We haven't, identified an exact date yet, but I know in the past that it's been just before the road opens. So I think when we get a little closer, we'll better be able to answer, exactly when. And that is our intention. We did that with Glacier Point Road. Had it open for about 3 days for bikes only before the road opened to vehicle traffic.
Great, thanks. We've got another question online. If someone has a camping reservation in the valley or somewhere within the park, they can use that reservation to drive through from the east, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. And that also includes if you have a wilderness permit to be in the park
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
So any kind of permitted opportunity in the park
Doesn't need a reservation.
doesn't need a reservation to get you in.
Right. So if somebody's camping, if they're staying at your hotel and then they have a wilderness permit, or they're staying at the hotel and then they're, coming into, stay in Yosemite Valley, they have that wilderness permit or a camping permit, we'll get them in, or a, hotel reservation at one of the in-park hotels will also get them in.
Great, thanks. And there's always yards. I'm gonna keep playing yards. I love the bus. Hey, Joe, what's up?
If I could just add something about bike days. So first of all, it's a fantastic experience. We love to make that available. We did on Glacier Point already. We'll do it if we can, but I think everybody on the east side wants that road to be open as soon as possible. So we won't do it if it's going to delay the road opening. So we do what we can.
Thank you. Sorry, Paul. We know you love your pieces.
Yeah.
I've never done it.
Oh, you haven't done it? Oh. My brother-in-law doesn't. I don't.
Thank you so much for that, Joe, because that has been a concern. A lot of people on this side have been worried that the bike day postpones an opening. So thanks for that. Even though it's a big opportunity and a lot of people do travel here for it, it's part of that balance discussion that we constantly are engaged in. So any other questions? You can type them in the chat. You can bring them up in the room.
Is there a goal date at all, or is it just kind of whenever it opens, it opens?
It's too early to say right now. There are historical dates based on data that you can look up in the park, but those historical dates are just that, they're historical dates. And I can't say we'll hit what would match a historical opening. But I think they're good guides.
We're in good shape depending on the weather.
Yeah.
And also we're waiting on, like Josh talked about, the rock removal and the pavement repair. And thankfully, and like Josh had mentioned, an emergency paving contract is in place. So those folks can get up there and fix the lanes that are crushed as soon as is safe. The rocks are scheduled, like we talked about, to be blown up next week. That means the pavement crews will get up there, and we're hopefully looking good because we all feel that it's spring. We know it's here.
Even though it snowed.
Yeah, even though it snowed again today,
It was so
probably
sad.
snow again this weekend.
No, bite your tongue. You can't put that out in the universe. What's wrong with you? No more snow.
Okay, we got one more from Mr. John Peters, Supervisor John Peters, up out of Bridgeport North. When will it not be too early to announce the opening date, and how much notice will the park be able to give gateway communities? Good question. Thank you.
It is a good question. I wish I had some history to answer that, but I don't. I'm kind of looking at Joe. It's hard to say. As I said before, I know that we will give you as much notice as we can, and I can promise to keep Paul updated weekly, and that's the best I can do right now.
Thanks. I know, we all feel differently about surprises. Sometimes a surprise is great. Sometimes it's great to be able to plan. I think this is one that's great when it's a surprise, but it's even better for all of us when we're able to kind of plan and make sure that we can hit the ground running once the folks show up over here, because that's really when our lights turn on bright on the east side. So,
Paul, I can just tell you, as soon as I know, you'll know.
Thanks so much. Anything else in the room? Yes, is it possible to see the graphic at this meeting? It's not, because it did not come through for some reason on my email. But I will figure out a way to share it out as broadly as possible, probably through the Multnomah County RPAC list or whatever else. If you haven't seen it and you'd like to see it, my email is in the chat up at the top. You can always write me and I'll send it to you. We'll also try to distribute it in other ways. So thanks for asking, and sorry for the technical difficulties. All right, with that, thank you all very much. It's going to be a good summer. Good flowers, good enjoying the park, and thanks for all you guys do. And thank you everyone for coming so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.
Hey.
Welcome, Ray. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Can't wait to see you all in person.
Likewise, thanks. Bye.